What's up and welcome back to the channel. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah, the Murcielago's in the booth. Everything's all taped up. We just gotta wipe it down, get it tacked off with a tack rag, and then we can start painting it. After we get this thing painted, we're gonna get it wet sanded and buffed. We'll get it all put back together and get it cleaned up and delivered to Ed, so stay tuned. Before we get to work, I wanted to tell everyone that I started putting links in the description of all of the tools and the materials that I use in my videos. So if you see me using something and you're interested in it, go to the description, find the link, and click on it. And if you buy it through the link, it helps out the channel, so go check those out. And now that I've got that out of the way, let's get to work. First things first, let's go ahead and get our safety equipment on. All right, that's much better. The first thing we're gonna do is wipe this thing down with Prep-All, which is a wax and grease remover. And then we're gonna tack it off with surgical blue tack rags. Let's get to it. We've got the Murciélago wiped down and tacked off. Now we're ready to start painting. We're going to be putting Shopline's JAU 9300, which is a jet black single stage, and we're going to be integrating clear into the last coat. So we've already got our single stage mixed up in the gun. Let's go paint this thing. Okay, so we've got 2 coats of single stage on the car with a 15-minute flash time in between each one. Now we're going to wait 15 minutes, but the next coat we're going to be spraying on is going to be integrated with a clear coat. And what I mean by that, we're going to be doing about a 50-50 mix of single stage that's already pre-hardened and clear coat that's already hardened. Now you can only do this if the hardeners are the same in the 2 products. So the clear coat we're going to be using is Shopline's JC661. Now they use the same hardener as the 9300 JAU, so that works perfect. So let's get this mixed up and get that last coat of clear, integrated clear, put on the car. All right, so we got that last coat of integrated single stage and clear put on the car. And man, I gotta tell you, this stuff, when you spray it like this, integrated, it really makes it super slick, and the black looks super deep. I really like doing it like this. So we're gonna let this stuff dry overnight. I'm gonna clean my gun out. We'll come back in the morning and see what we need to buff. So this thing turned out really good. Everything is nice and slick. There are a few pieces of trash that I want to address. And basically I'm gonna take some 1200 grit paper, sand those little pieces of trash, basically called nibbing them out, and then I'm going to polish them. And we're going to do all of this before we untape the car. That way the paper and the tape that's on the car now will protect anything from any compound getting slung all over the car. So let's go ahead and get our buffing supplies out and start getting this thing buffed. So the first step in this paint correction process, we're going to take some 1200 grit wet or dry paper. We're going to take a paint paddle that I've cut down to size, and we're going to use it as a block. So I'm just going to wrap this around here. Get a little water squirt bottle and start blocking out those little pieces of trash. Now we're going to use some 2000 grit on a DA to get those 1200 grit scratches out. Next up is we're going to sand with some 3000 grit Trizac on a DA. Let's do that now. The last step I like to do before I start polishing is sand the car with 5000 grit Trizac. Now this stuff is super fine, and I use it with a DA the same way I use the 3000 grit. And it may be an extra step that a lot of people don't take, but if you do sand it with this, it really makes the polishing out process super fast and super easy. So let's go ahead and get this done. So now I'm going to take a microfiber rag and go ahead and wipe off all the sanding residue. Now we're going to move on to the polishing. The polishing process that I like to use is it's a Rupes process. These are the coarse pad, and this is an orbital polisher, but it's not a Rupes polisher. It's an aftermarket polisher. Works pretty well. The coarse pad with the coarse blue compound with Rupes works really well, so that's the first thing we're going to be polishing with. So polishing on the gas cap is going to be tough with that big orbital buffer, so we're just going to hand polish this stuff out. It's the good thing about the 5000 grit Trizac. It'll even hand polish out pretty fast. All the polishing with the coarse compound is done. So I'm going to take a brand new microfiber cloth and go ahead and wipe over these panels and make sure that I get all the residue off from the coarse compound. And then we'll step up to the fine, which is the yellow, and the yellow pad, and finish it off in that. Now we're going to take another new microfiber rag, go ahead and wipe down this thing again, wipe off all the fine polish, and look it over and make sure that we've got everything polished out like it needs to be. All right, so everything looks good on the polishing front. So now we can get this thing untaped and start putting it back together. Now let's see if I can remember how to put this thing back together. Got this thing all put back together. Everything looks really good. I'm sweating like crazy. It's pretty hot today. Ed's supposed to come pick this thing up tomorrow, so I'm gonna wait till either he's on his way or I'm about to load it up to take it to him before I give it its final bath and get all the dust and stuff off of it. Because typically if it sits around the shop for any amount of time at all, it just gets dusty again. So last thing before I load it up, before he gets here, we'll get it cleaned up. But other than that, we're done and it looks really good. He's coming to pick up this Murciélago today, so let's get this thing out of the booth. We'll drive it over there in front of the house and get it cleaned up.
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
All right, so we got the Lamborghini all cleaned up. It's ready for delivery. Ed just texted me, said he was on his way to come pick it up. I hope he likes what we did. All right, so Ed came and picked up the Murciélago, and you can tell that thing's gone. Now, I didn't shove a camera in his face because I didn't really want to be impolite when he came and picked the car up, but he did look it over, and he did like what we did. He was very pleased with the results, and he did talk to me a while about my YouTube channel and gave me some really good advice and some pointers on how to make the channel better. I'm going to try to implement some of those things in the future. And he was just overall just a really cool guy, very down to earth and easy to talk to. I hope to be able to work with him again in the future because he has some really cool cars. So Ed, if you're watching this, you got my number. Call me if you need anything painted.
Grocery stores ought to have baskets in the middle of the store for people like me that always overestimates how much I can carry.
That's going to be about it for this video and the video series on the Murciélago. So if you thought it was cool, go ahead and hit that like button and share this video with your friends because it helps out the channel. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and clicking on the bell icon. That way you won't miss any future content. If you have any thoughts or questions about the video, you can leave it in the comment section down below. And don't forget to check in the description for the links of all the tools and the materials that I use in this video. And if you buy through the link, it helps out the channel. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. See ya! So if you enjoyed it, and if you've seen anything that I've been using, and and smashing that bell icon, smashing, and on the Murciélago, I don't think. It helps out with the and this is the first time that you've ever seen me. So I hoped you liked it. I hoped you liked it. Because that helps out the channel. I can't talk tonight. That's going to be about it for you and the video. And in the video, you can share this video with your friends, and it helps out the channel. Like and share this video, and I've already said that.